Do you love playing Sniper but are sick of people kicking you from games because they think you're hacking? Are you a new player who can't land a headshot even if their life depends on it? Do you enjoy challenging yourself with objectively bad weapons in TF2? If you said yes to any of my questions, I have the guide for you. How Ian's doing? I'm Ian, and this is my TF2 How to Killstreak series, where we look at the best and worst TF2 has to offer and I show you how to get a killstreak with it, because everything is a bad idea until it works. Today, as you could tell by reading the title and thumbnail, we'll be covering the Sydney Sleeper. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Jurate for everyone! I am so sorry!
The Sydney Sleeper, or Piss Rifle as it's more commonly referred to in the community, was officially added to the game back in 2010 in the Manconomy update as part of the Croco-style item set. This was back when item sets actually gave you mechanical buffs in some capacity, and this one was the most infamous of all of them since it gave you an immunity to headshots. However, for obvious reasons, headshot immunity was considered too powerful for the sniper to have in any capacity, and this item set was nerfed. Nowadays, however, instead of giving you a mechanical buff, when you have this item set equipped, you will instead have a tombstone appear at the feet of whoever you kill, an honorable tribute to an honorless playstyle. If you wish to acquire this weapon for yourself, it can be crafted by combining a huntsman with a reclaimed metal. However, like always, I recommend either trading or waiting for a random drop if you wish to acquire this item. As for what this thing does, at the cost of your headshots doing mini crit damage instead of full crit damage, resulting in 68 damage on a quick scope instead of the usual 150, you gain a 25% faster charge time on your scoped shots. All scoped hits on opponents inflict Girardi for 2 to 5 seconds depending on how much you have it charged up. If you hit a teammate with this weapon, regardless if you are scoped in or not, you can extinguish them, meaning you can save players from across the map from dying of afterburn. Also, for some strange reason, headshots reduce the cooldown of your Girardi by 1 second with this weapon. Not sure why, since Girardi's cooldown is so short that it will pretty much never come up in most games, but still, it's a thing. As one could tell from reading the stats of this weapon, this is a rifle for players who have poor aim and have given up all hope of improving whatsoever and have decided not to use the Machina for some reason. This is also a good weapon for pro snipers to switch to when accusations start to get out of hand and you start getting worried about being vote kicked from the server but don't want to switch classes. The faster charge time is quite helpful with this gun since it lets you get lethal on your body shots faster than you could with your other rifles, generally speaking. Which, when your headshot damage does only slightly better damage than a melee swing to the face, is kind of necessary. The Girardi you inflict on your foes, however, is not so useful. In fact, I have never seen it once make a difference. This is because the duration of this debuff is based on how much you have charged up on your rifle. And how much you charge up also increases the damage, meaning realistically, if you have a fully charged body shot on someone, you're probably going to kill them anyway. And even if someone on the enemy team does survive your shot, well, realistically speaking, what's going to happen is the debuff is going to wear off long before your teammates have a chance to follow up, or they're so low on health that whether or not you got a mini crit boost on the damage won't matter. Hell, teams are so uncoordinated in pubs that realistically, you could cover the entire enemy team in Girardi for 10 seconds, and there's a very good chance that the debuff will wear off long before anyone on your team notices. If you're using this weapon alongside the Bushwhacker, however, you could theoretically quickscope someone and then switch to your melee for a guaranteed critical hit with your melee swing. So if you feel like using this rifle alongside the Bushwhacker and Girardi for the maximum piss loadouts to make sure that everyone on the enemy team is experiencing golden shower at every possible second of the day, well, there's a loadout for you, I guess. The only thing this gun does better than your other primary options is for when you want to go camping somewhere and charge up body shots. You know what I'm talking about, those two Fort Gibbous noobs who are sitting on a ledge clearly made for every sniper to sit on as they wait for players to leave spawn so they can inevitably hone their skill against equally clueless snipers on the enemy team. However, in sniper vs sniper duels with this gun, you're effectively fucked. No really, just switch weapons or even classes because realistically, this thing is just going to be an active hindrance compared to your other guns since the ability to land headshots is pretty much the make or break point on who wins a sniper vs sniper battle. Maybe back when the item set made you immune to headshots, this was somewhat balanced since they can't headshot you, but you can't headshot them, but those are no longer the days we live in. Since nowadays, you need to hit them several times or wait several seconds to charge up your shots, while all they have to do is click on your head and you're dead. meaning in any 1v1 duel with a sniper, you're not going to win unless you are significantly better at this game than them or you have the element of surprise. This can be a useful gun for those of you who want to go for assist kills for some bizarre reason, since the durability inflicted on opponents means that if someone dies after you shoot them once while scoped in, you will get an assist kill after they inevitably die, so you could just inflict your debuff on players who are clearly out of position and about to die to your teammates, as you get your nice assist kill in the kill feed. Perfect for those of you who want to dominate the enemy team as much as possible but don't want to steal kills from your teammates. However, while this gun is terrible, I do have a few tips for players looking to get kills. None of these tips are specific to the Sydney Sleeper, but we haven't covered any of Sniper's primary weapons before on this channel, so it's not exactly like I've been repeating myself from previous videos here. Firstly, make sure your crosshair is not visible to the enemy players, since when you're scoped in, there's a tiny little team color dot wherever your crosshair is pointed at, meaning the enemy team knows exactly where you're staring at. So if, for example, you're camping around a corner waiting to headshot someone as they round a corner down a narrow hallway, they'll see that little dot on the wall and realize, oh, there's a sniper, I'm just going to take a different route and not go down there, and kill you as they take a different flank route. The best solution to this issue in particular, in my experience, is to simply have your crosshairs against an opposing piece of map geometry that makes it so that your crosshairs are invisible to the enemy team. Then, the moment the enemy team's head is in view, click on them with your gun! Secondly, make sure that you have your back against something at all times to avoid getting backstabbed while you're scoped in, tunnel visioning your perfect sniper perch. Because your teammates are not going to save you from a spy. What's going to happen is you're going to be the last thing they kill as they chain stab the entire enemy team to death, including you. Also remember to unscope your gun and look around every now and then to make sure that the enemy team isn't flanking you. Your scoped shots charge 25% faster than with your other guns, so take advantage of that by not needing to worry so much about how much you have charged up in the first place. Lastly, if you're struggling to leave spawn, you're going to need to swap classes or switch servers, because while everyone going engineer or heavy can win you a game, trying that shit with sniper or spy is just a synonym for losing. All in all, I give the Sydney Sleeper an outclassed out of 10. There's nothing that this gun does better that your other weapon options can't do tenfold as efficiently. And as a result, you will pretty much never see this gun being used in casual servers except by clueless players who just got it from a random drop and don't know what it does, and pro players who are trying not to get vote kicked for being too good at the game, as well as the occasional player who wants to look like said pro players who are too good at the game. And hate to burst your bubble there, kid? Oh, who am I kidding? I am delighted to burst that bubble. We all know you just stole your mother's credit card to buy some unusuals. You're not fooling anyone. With that said, that's all for now. Like the video if you did, subscribe if you don't want to miss the next one, comment what weapons you want to see me cover in the future. I've been Ian, you have been you, and this has been my TF2 How to Killstreak guide to the Sydney Sleeper. And stay tuned, the Fan of War is coming up next.